evening, everyone. Treasure Troller here from the partially mask-wearing militant state of Michigan. So tonight's a travel rant. Wasting time on the way to work. Haven't posted in a few days because, quite honestly, there's really nothing to say. We're going on the Scuba Steve theory, where you just don't talk about the stuff that's already in the news. So that kind of limits your talking points now, doesn't it? So Tucker Carlson, we'll go with Tucker Carlson. He gets, I guess you could say, laid off. He'll never be seen on Fox again, but he hasn't been fired. So what? He's not the first big name. I don't know if you want to call him a news reporter. Big name mainstream media dude to fall by the wayside. That was popular when they were taken off the air for whatever reason. I mean, Fredo Cuomo had horrible ratings. So did Brian Stelter. He had horrible ratings. Can understand why they're getting rid of them. Bill O'Reilly, I guess for his lack of candor or fishing off the company pier, got the axe when he was at the highest rated show. Megyn Kelly, I think it was more her personal reasons wanting to leave, more for family than it was anything related to Fox as far as wrongdoing or anything else. I think she just wanted a better time slot for her family, but she was at the top of the heap when she left. The biggest Fox crime, as far as I'm concerned, was on the Fox and Friends morning show when they opted for Gretchen Carlson over Karen Shetry. Karen Shetry and her legs of mass seduction. They gave her the boot. She went over to CNN. Project Veritas got rid of James O'Keefe. Like the tip of the spear of Project Veritas. They got rid of him. I'm sure there's more. We look at. So it doesn't matter. Even YouTube will deplatform its biggest channels over, misinformation, stuff they don't deem correct politically. They'll get rid of you over that, or once you monetize, now you have to make sure you're conforming or talk a little bit for 10, 15 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes. Okay, we're going to Rumble now. So there's that fine line you have to walk. So they don't really care. Just like politicians, you have the border crisis. So what do you have? You have one side of the aisle that says, it's under control. We're there. And I think and it's this little game of semantics that they play, like Dr. Fauci did with, it's not a, I can't even think what they call that damn thing. We'll have to skip Fauci. It's lost my train of thought. But he talks about how it's under control. Mariokas talks about how it's under control. Which basically means, when an illegal walks across the border, they're quickly detained by immigration as quick as possible, and then they're given catch and release. They're put on a bus and they're transported to their preferred place of domicile. That's under control of them. Republicans or people like that live in Texas, politicians in Texas, are saying no, it's out of control. So what do they want to do? They want to sit in hearings with Mayorkas and tell him what a dirtbag he is and how he's failed at his job and how he should be fired. And they think they're doing a good thing because they're ripping him a new asshole. Well, they're ripping Mayorkas a new asshole, 100 illegals cross the border. So, the mainstream, the executives, the mainstream media, they don't give a fuck about what comes across. What they put up, they're concerned about what comes across is what the advertisers are willing to pay. If the drug companies give them enough money, they'll say whatever the drug companies want them to say. Politicians, Jesus, what's going on in Minnesota right now, where the exploitation and the mutilation of minors is applauded. I can tell you exactly how this reassignment surgery thing is going to end. I can tell you exactly how it's going to end for some of these people in Minnesota. But I probably have to go to Rumble. But I know exactly how it's going to end. So I just think it's a lot of people that, for whatever reason, we've been listening to. They don't give a shit about us. I've said it, I guess, before, even like with that piece of vacant property that's still vacant in Muskegon, that with one signature from Whitmer could turn into a casino and an economic boom. They don't give a shit about the people there until it's voting time. Well, I stood up in front of Mayorkas and told him what a scumbag he is. Vote for me. Mayorkas, I stood up and I defended the Biden policy. At least Democrats, when Trump was in office, they didn't just bitch. At least they filed lawsuits against the wall. I mean, for every 10 feet of wall, there was probably 100 lawsuits against it, and they're still filing suits against Trump. It's the political decor. If we don't like someone, we don't want someone to be running or have the ability to run, well, we'll just sue, and we'll keep suing. And everyone's going to be happy with that. On Democrat and Republican side, in political office. Yes, we couldn't have someone like that, of that stature, once again, having any say in the political matters of this country, or how this country should be run. Oh, God forbid. Just a bunch of pompous, arrogant SOBs that really only care about the bottom line, or if it infringes upon their perceived power. I just we get too many politicians worrying about war. They are hell-bent on some sort of confrontation. Why? I don't know. It's not, they won't be over there. They won't be over there on the front line taking fire. Well, it won't be them. It won't be their kids either. Their kids will be at Harvard. studying at Harvard for their philosophy degree or their gender studies bachelor's. It won't be them. I don't know. This country's been run by the wrong people for way too long, and it's just weird that the media, even for its maybe slanted views at times, at least never cave to big business. They needed advertising to support their paper, but people advertise in the papers because of the columnists and their coverage of certain events, sports, political. It certainly wasn't because they had the company come in and provide millions of dollars to see things their way. They've sold us out. Even, the most trusted people. I mean, for a long time, pharmacists were probably the most trusted people around. People you trust the most. But look what they've done to them. You got pharmacists telling people to wear masks and get vaccines. Now it's coming out that, well, surprise, surprise, masks may not have worked. Vaccines, there may be some issues with those. Maybe they weren't good for everybody. So the people that we've trusted the most now, maybe there's a bit of mistrust there. The people you watched on the news, you can't trust them anymore because the mainstream media won't let you. Politicians, well, you can never trust them, rat bastards. So what are you supposed to do? Trust people that think men can be women and women can be men? Is that who we're supposed to trust now? Is that the spoken word? The word of truth? You got judges that'll attorney generals that prosecute with discriminatory practices. Some people walk, while some people that walk in a building are thrown in jail for years without trial, or brought up on charges that'll keep them in prison for years for walking into a building for 5 minutes. Well, murderers walk free. Kids roam in the streets, vandalizing. Now, this country's in a fucking mess, and there's really... Who do you trust to fix it? Who do you trust? And that's the problem. There's nobody, or there's no group or anyone that you can really trust anymore. So I think the country's fucked. I think we have reached, I think the doom switch has been turned on. I think it's been turned on. And I'm not sure exactly how we get it back. So, this vlog brought to you by Scuba Steve. And the shit you don't necessarily hear on the news, or at least it was, it wasn't everything you've exactly heard on the news, but you could say, yeah, I've heard that shit before. So I tried scuba. I tried my best. Oh, and Jerry Springer died. Probably the only one that could have brought this country back to normalcy was Jerry Springer. So, I guess we'll close this one out the way Jerry Springer used to close out the early days of his show, before it turned into total chaos. So with that, this is Treasure Troller saying, be good to yourself and each other. Aloha.